Okay. I just want to go back for a minute to the Mishnah, just so we don't, because you're going to lose the cheshbon if we don't. So if you look in the Mishnah, let's remember what it says in the Mishnah, okay? It says in the Mishnah that about Keri can't say Kriya Shema, right? That we know. So we learned this already. We learn now. That's Takanas Ezra. So therefore, it says in the Mishnah, this is what back to Mishnah Chafim Beis. I'm just pointing to the Mishnah because the discussion now in the Gemara is based on the Mishnah. Bakeri Mahara Beliboy. Bakeri should be Mahari. You can't say Kriya Shema. And according to the Mishnah, according to Tanakama, he doesn't make Birkas Kriya Shema. Not before, not afterwards. Now we'll have to see what that means. It's not so partial what that means. Does that mean with hearer? Could mean that means with hearer. Benching it does. Benching is deraisa. We see in the Gemara, benching is different. It's deraisa. Rabbi Yehuda Oimer Mevorach Lifnei Ulachrei. Rabbi Yehuda argues. Rabbi Yehuda says, no. You make the brachos. You make because Kriya. You make. Now, seemingly, Rabbi Yehuda disagrees with this din of Bekeri. Right? So now that's what we're going to discuss. So now what happened? I think we're in the middle of this on Friday. We're the bottom of Chaf Aleph Beis Tanan. Again, we said there are different types now. Right? That's where we left off. Yeah. Right? So there are different types of Keri. And there are other different types which require a person. There are other din in the type which require a person to be toivel. One of them is Keri. The other is of Nida, which is obviously about a woman. But so now, just keep in mind again. I said this on Friday that Keri is that day, and because you toivel is a Keri, and then you toivel that day, and then at night you're mutter truma, whatever it is, right? Whereas tumas nida or tumas zav is a week. Okay, so that means to say you're not. So if a person, we're going to see a situation here where a person has both tumas, so he's kind of stuck. The tefillah is not. He's not effective for removing the tumah. So what happens then? So that's the discussion in the following Mishnah. It's a Mishnah coming up actually tonight. So here you have a double. We'll call it a double case of tumah. Double tumah. He's a zav, and now he's a bakeri. She's a nida. And now also, this is a nida also, a woman also, she's polta shich v'zera, like it says in the Torah that the women also, like the Gemara says in Shabbos, couldn't be with a man for 3 days because she becomes tamei for the shich v'zera. Okay, so and similarly, now pay attention to this third case. The third case is a little bit the opposite. And again, the first case is tamei 7 days of, nida 7 days, and then we add to that keri. Third case, pay attention. Mishameshes, now she's mishameshes, which by definition she means this woman has keri. She also exposed to tumas keri, and then she sees blood. Tzrichin tvila. So the Chachamim say in all the above cases, in order to learn Torah to say brachos, you must be toivel. Now, I'll just explaining it. Even though you can argue what for, I'm sorry, I'm a zav. I'm out. I'm tummy anyway. It's I can't touch truma. It's true. Now the din zav doesn't say you can't learn Torah. It happens to be true. So they're about to say shkoyach, you're zav, but you'll be toivel next week and get rid of that tumah. But lemaisa, the takana that says you can't learn Torah is because of the keri. So you could remove the tumas. The two tumas are independent entities. For Rabbi Yehuda Poiter, Rabbi Yehuda says it's pointless here. Chazal didn't make the takana. It's a pointless takana of being toivel when you can't really remove the tumah. So in this case, there's no restrictions of being a zav. So ad kan zakti gemara. Ad kan, but Rabbi Yehuda. So what is Rabbi Yehuda pata b'zav sheva keri? So here Rabbi Yehuda has a whole logic. Why? Oh, he's a zav. He's not a keri. Okay, so you don't do tefillah. 1 second. So that means that only over here to be Karol Bar Tefillah. Aval Balkeri greater. But let's say regular, classic, simple Balkeri. What's the din? Yeah. Rabbi Yehuda agrees. He's just coming out the whole lamdis because you're loving about carrying. Here, Rabbi Yehuda says, no. But normally that implies, Rabbi Yehuda says, yeah, of course about carry has to be toivel in order to learn. That's a kasha, because we learned Rabbi Yehuda. We said that Rabbi Yehuda says in our Mishnah that the main word, the kasavar, about carry muta b'divrei Torah. And we tried to frame for, and Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold the whole drasha. He doesn't hold the whole drasha of the Tekana Ezra, of the Vadat and V'necha. We tried to explain a different drasha for that. But you see in this Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda does hold. So Frichi Tema, try to get out of that, and you'll say that who I didn't have to be great. It's Lavdafke. You know, Rabbi Yehuda says the whole thing. When he says party, means this whole the business about carry. I don't buy into this. It doesn't exist. Great Nami Potter. So why are you making it so complicated? It's about a Zov Shared. It's true. That's because the Rabbanan are saying that. Rabbanan wants to say Chiddush, that even if you'll have a good reason out of it here. You'll say it's a Zov, Shared carry, you say Shkoyach, but still you have to be Toivel. And Rabbi Yehuda disagrees, but the reason why we speak about such a complicated case is not Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds the whole thing never exists at all. It's sort of like we say lo diacha koichon de rabbanon, to demonstrate the strength of the rabbanon, how strong the rabbanon are in this particular case. So, frankly, if that's true, so I don't understand the third case. This is where it gets paid. This is a little bit complicated, right? Pay attention. Ema seifa. What if it goes the other way around? Starting off with Keri, Mishameshes. This woman was Mishameshes. She came in contact with Keri, so she's Tameh Keri. So, and then afterwards, V'ros Adam, so the Rabbanan say, Tefillah. Now, L'man K'torila, you know the Rabbanan, of course. If the Rabbanan say that even when she starts off being a Zava, a Nida, or a Zav, right? He starts off. And then you add on the kid, it doesn't make a difference. You still have to be toivel, even though you're already, the tumor already existed. So maybe the other second tumor it's not chal, doesn't go on to the previous existing tumor. And the Rabban still say, so what's the point of saying the other way around? In the case of when she's if you start off with carry, of course, you have to, it's even more logical, you have to remove it by going to the mikveh. So you must say, certainly, so obviously it's Rabbi Yehuda. And Rabbi Yehuda means business. He's saying yes. Over here, because there's an additional tumah of being a nida or zav. So Rabbi Yehuda says there's no point. You're not accomplishing anything by going to the mikveh. So in this case, there's no restriction of Tfilas Ezra, of the din of Balkari. So you see, Rabbi Yehuda dafka k'tani la mishameshes was a damina and tzurich tefillah. Aval Balkari does mechayiv. So we slugged it up. Don't give me this story. Rabbi Yehuda also agrees that there's a concept and there's a din of Balkari. So how in the world does Rabbi Yehuda say in the Mishnah? He says that you're mevarech. What's going on? How are you mevarech? You're Balkari. You can't say brachos, just like you can't learn. Of course you can't say it's Shem Hashem. And for the Gemara, teretz is lo te mevarech ele mehara. We have to say that when Yehuda said mevorach, he didn't mean literally mevorach. He meant you should think Birkas Kriya Shema. By the way, thinking means you actually think the words, not just think the ideas. You actually think the words. But how can you say that? You really think Rabbi Yehuda says that you can do hearer? It says as follows. The Brachos says as follows about Keri. She'ein lo mayim litvol. He doesn't have a mikveh. Koyre Kriya Shema. He does say Kriya Shema. Because Kriya Shema is the Raisa. Voichel Pitoi. And he benches because it's the Raisa. So what do you do instead of the brachos here? All the brachos you're missing. Think it through. Think it. Mahara. Who says that? Divrei Meir. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ben Gachu ben Chamoitzi b'Sfasav. And Rabbi Yehuda says, no, there's no such thing as here. Rabbi Yehuda says here, and here he says also, like we thought to say in the Mishnah, L'chaira, that Rabbi Yehuda doesn't mean here, he means say it. But he holds of Keri, he holds of Takana, so what's going on? Just steer Rabbi Yehuda. There's a problem about Keri. Mitzad Sheni, he holds, he holds you can't do here, so he must be actually saying the Brachos. So what's the pshat? How do you say the Brachos? So now what we're going to do, we're going to answer basically is, we have to question this assumption. Is it so posh? It's true that there's a din we learned out that when you learn Torah, Bakari should not be learning Torah. However, by the way, Rabbi said, anyone who misses or something, then we don't paskin like this. We paskin, you can't. We'll get to it, but in case anybody misses tomorrow, we do paskin, you can't. So, anyways, the point is that. So we're going to question this assumption. Now we have to question this equation that says that making brachos is the equivalent of learning Torah. So here we're going to demonstrate why that's not so pashut. Zokti Gemara, Amud Rav Nachman Yitzchak, Osen Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda treats the brachos, what's called. We'll see in a minute. We'll see what this is. We'll see what he means in a minute. In the brisa, ki hilchos derech eretz. In other words, there are certain parts of Torah that are permissible. And we'll see the example in a minute. So too, brachos. And we learn the following brayso as follows. The Sanya. Torah says, Pasuk says, V'ydatu v'necha v'necha. It's the same drasha we said before about Bakari, right? That you have to teach Torah. You have to teach your children, your grandchildren. It says also that afterwards, right away, it speaks about Kabbalah Torah. Chayrev is Sinai, Kabbalah Torah. So we say drashas again. We said this before on Chavav. Ma lahalan be'mavira. Just like Torah, Kabbalah Torah was with fear and trembling and sweating and being afkan be'ema be'yira be'rezav Mikan Amru. So this is the source that azavim. Tzarayim but alides. There are different types of tumah. There's zav, the tzayir, nida, different types of tumah. Mutarim the krispetayim. We do not restrict those tumeim. Lishtos b'mishnah Gemara. You can learn Gemara. You can learn Torah, Tanakh, Mishnah, Gemara, Agadas, Ababali, Karyan. But those that have it's another tumah in the Torah, and the Torah is just another example of when you have to go to the mikveh in the Torah to touch truma or whatever it is. Avabakarian, Asurim. From here we learn out that with Torah, because Bakari is kalas roish. This comes from a certain kalas roish, certain lightheadedness, and therefore that's not appropriate for Torah. Rabbi Yossi Omer. Now we're going. Okay, fine. Now we're going to see there are different opinions exactly what that includes. What part of Torah, what requires to be purity that we need, the mikveh from Bakari, which chedik of Torah we're referring to. So Rabbi Yossi Omer that shoyne b'regilus uvachli yatzias hamishta. You could, it's more when you see. It's interesting. You see this. Rashi says you could say the mishnayos. These are what are. Rashi screws with you. You just kind of say the words, which is kind of superficial to some level because it's just you're familiar with the words and say quickly. As long as you don't explain it, that's not the Torah that we're talking about. That's a different Torah. It's a different level. Sorry. You can explain it. You can't explain the reasoning. You can even explain it, but not the Shakavataya, not the Gemara, not the Kasha, the Teretz. That's already that you can't do if you're about Keri. You can't use the Shem Hashem. No. Now he says no. It's all included. He's more chum. He's much more machri. He says no, you can't. About Keri should not. Don't come to the Beis Medrash. You're out. Don't enter I said it a little wrong. Don't enter into the explanational. Don't Midrash. Don't explain. Some say, come to the Beis Medrash quicker. Don't even come to the Beis Medrash. Now, this is Rabbi Yehuda. This is what we're looking for. Rabbi, so pay attention to this one. You can learn Hilchos Derech Eretz. It's a very basic, it's almost like just Derech Eretz. It's almost just basic rules of Derech Eretz, the way you're supposed to act. It's Torah, but it's not, you're not directly going into explaining the Torah. So that is permissible even for a carry. There's certain concepts of Torah which that's not the requirements. The restrictions are much lighter. So he said, so that's what we're saying, that saying the Birkas Kriya Shema is like Derech Eretz also. That's permissible. Zok the Gemara more. It's now another more examples of this different nafkaminas. Is Ma'aser Yehuda, Sharak Keri, Roy Malcha Gabinar, and he's walking down the river bank, on the river, next to the river. Shalom Perek Echvidus Derech Eretz. Teach us something. And I guess they knew that he had carried or something. So Yar v'Tovel. So it was Tovel. Shalom him. So he said, Rebbe, what's going on? Didn't you teach us, Rebbe, that Rabbeinu, Shainahu, Birchos Derech Eretz? That's what we asked you. We dafka asked, teach us Derech Eretz, teach us about, Rashi says it's like a bride says, darken shel Tamid Chamim, what's the ways of Tamid Chamim? Teach us something, it's more kind of about life, about being a Tamid Chacham. Teach us about that. That's a little more, it's not, don't give us an answer, Shir Kloli, a drush. Just teach us something. So he says, but didn't you teach us you don't have to be told for that? So why did you go into the river? So he said to him, he answered, it's true, that's Ikar Din, and that's why I'm asking for people, because that's Ikar Din. But I myself am stringent, personally I'm stringent, and therefore I do what I did. Now this is very important. This is remember this. This is the halacha l'maisa. Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira and Rashi mentions a few times in the sugya. This is how we paskin. Ein divrei Torah mekablin tuma. It was in opposition to the din of Takanas Ezra, to the drasha we said before, the Brachos of we say no. The tuma does not affect the divrei Torah. Divrei Torah doesn't get tuma. It's not mekabel tuma. In fact, he was going quickly, saying like very superficially and quickly because he was a Bakari. He didn't want to actually say the explanation. He was in front of the Malam Yehuda Meseira. Again, he said, "B'ni ptach picha. You don't have to do this. It's not halacha. For you it's v'lecha. She'ain tevei Torah mekabel tuma. Now, how do I know? How did he know? The Torah is not mekabel tuma. It's a pasuk. It says, "Haloi koi dvarik keish nu'um Hashem." The Torah is compared to fire. It's like a mamash of fire. Torah. Ma eish and mekabel tuma after vei Torah and mekabel tuma. So there we learn out that there is no nafkamina of keri klapei devei Torah. And again, Rashi points out that's halacha l'maisa. That's ikar halacha ikar din shulchan aruch also. Obabar. Matzias Mishnah and Matzias Gemara. So let's go back and discuss the Brachos. One of the shitas we said before was Mishnah is okay, Gemara is not. So that shita is a proof to Rabbi Loi. Don't remember Rabbi Loi Amar Alacha by Yankiv. Shem Rabbeinu said the name Vrav Halacha Matzias Mishnah and Matzias Gemara. So yeah, he also said the exact same thing. So we have a source from the Brisa and a source from the Amorai. So the Gemara Kitnoi. In fact, maybe this is a machlokes tonight. Matzias Mishnah, Matzias Gemara, Divrei Meir. Yehuda ben Gamliel, Omer, Mishum Chanim ben Gamliel. No, you cannot do that. You can't just say the Mishnah. No, it's not positive. Also, okay, there's a bunch of sheets. I'll try to hold on, pay attention to sheets. It's also, Amalei says a mutter. So Ma'adam is a mutter, that everything is mutter. That's like a B'yechan and a Sandler. Sorry, Manda was also, that's like the one that said also, that's like a Masana. Don't even come into the base of Medrash, we said before in the Brisa. Manda was a mutter, who's that? That's like Yehuda ben Seira, who says Divrei Torah is not Mekabel Tumah. Oh, now here we're going to see the Allah L'maisa. Amar Rabbi Nachman Yitzchak Noig Amar Kani Tlasabe. The minig is according to the following three elders. Rabbi Loi, Reishis Ageiz. This is halacha Rabbi Loi in the Hilchos Reishis Ageiz in the halachas of taking the shearings, the beginning of the shearings for the kohen. That's like Rabbi Loi. Rabbi Yoshia B'Kilayim. And we'll see. We're going to go through each one. And Rabbi Yoshia Hilchos Kilayim and Q Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira B'Divrei Torah. That's our Rabbi Yehuda ben Meseira. That Divrei Torah is Mekabel Tumah. So he works like Kibbutz Reish against Zani Reish against Ein Noig Ela Ba'aretz. It's only in Eretz Yisrael. Rabbi Yishaya, Rabbi Yeshia B'Kilayim D'Chsiv like Tizra Kilayim. Rabbi Yishaya, you can't plant. You can't plant. You can never mix anything with Kilayim. You can never mix your vineyard with wheat or whatever with something else growing with the grapes. Rabbi Yishaya Amar LaOilam Ein Chayv Ad Sheyizra Chita. No, it's only with wheat, barley, chartzon, and grape seeds. In the same shovel, the same planting, you have all three together. Only there is it considered kilayim. And we pass that there is no kabbalas tuma on Torah. Okay. Now we're starting to go into some more details here in the halachas, in different ways of tefillah. He also Ziri came, I think for Eretz Yisrael, and he said, Bitlua the tefillus. You should know, Rabbi Yisai, there's no more tefillah. I think because we're going like you with a Meseira. I think. For Amrila, now some interpreted that means he didn't say quite that. He said bitlua lenitilusa. They are mevatel nitilusa. What's nitilusa? Sorry. We'll see. 1 second. Hold on. Mandam bitlua nitilusa. That's Rabbi Meseira. Yeah, that is. The Gemara says it. Yeah. Mandam bitlua nitilusa. There's something else. This has to do with the Gemara we learned previously. Actually, a few days ago, Daf Tes Vav, if I'm not mistaken, we learned that you have to wash your hands before you daven. And the Gemara said that if you can't wash your hands, so then you should just clean them with something. So that's what we're saying over here also. Manda Amar Batlu bin Nitilusa, they were vatal the obligation of Nitilos Yadayim for tefillah, like Rav Chisda said. We had this previously. Rav Chisda lied, he cursed Amanda Bahada Maya bin Nitilusa. If it's time to daven, you shouldn't be running around looking for water. Tefillah is limited to a certain time, and you have to make sure you daven on time. And therefore, it means to say in that situation, you shouldn't be washing your hands. We do hold you need to wash your hands before davening. That is the halacha. But not when not if to go looking around for water. According to Chisda. Tanu Rabbanan. A few more halachas here about the details of the tefillas Balkari. Balkari shenislo of Tisha B'Av. Now there's another type of. We're going to see how this works. There is another type of tefillas Balkari actually. And it's an innovation of Chazal, because the Torah doesn't speak about it. The Torah speaks about mikvah, and we'll find this story. But there's a tisha kabin mayim toyer. So you can use. We'll see. This means pouring on yourself 9 kabin, which means you take water, a certain amount of water, tisha kabin. It's not that much water, tisha kabin. Keep in mind, mikvah is 40 sa. It's 4 kav and a sa, so it's a much smaller amount. Nochavish gamzu lochsha Rabbi Kiva. So now this secret about Tesha Kabin was whispered. Lochsha means whispered. He whispered this to Rabbi Kiva, And Rabbi Kiva Lochsha whispered it to Ben Azai. Ben Azai Yotzav V'Shon L'Talmidav. And Ben Azai went and told his Talmidim. Now here, Ben Azai Dafka told them. Now, please about German right. Now there's two different interpretations. What's the story? Why are they're whispering it? What's going on over here? Two Amoraim in Marava. Rabbi Yosef Abin, the two famous Amoraim in Marava. Rabbi Yosef Abin, Rabbi Yosef Zvide. And there's two versions of what happened. Cha'atani Shana. One is not really. It says. Maybe they're just arguing in Ben Azai. No, I'm not sure if it's on Ben Azai, but one said, yes, it could be taught. You could teach this halacha. You should know that you're allowed to use Teisha Kabin. V'chodtani lochsha. Now you should only whisper it. Now what does that mean? Mantani shana mishum bitul Torah. This should be instructed. People should know that if you're about carry, and again, this is chayra, assuming not like you're in Meseira, like you're worried about being about carry to learn. So then use Teisha Kabin. Don't spend hours and hours going to find a place to a mikveh when you could use Teisha Kabin. It's Bittul Torah. And Bittul Pervirivya. Also, or a person will try to prevent, a person who's married will try to prevent going into a situation from Bakari and thereby being Mavatal Mitzvahs Puruvu, because he doesn't want to be Mavatal from Torah. So either way is not good, and therefore we have to teach people different solutions to this problem. Why was it whispered? Because you know what? It's true. It could be whispered to people, but you don't have to publicize it. It's kind of goyim. Actually, it is a healthy thing that Talmid Chachamim, who are completely involved in learning, that if they're Mavata Pruvu, it doesn't bother us so much. They shouldn't be with their wives, like we say, like chickens. It should be some limit. Om Rabbi Yanai, Shamati Shemakilin. I heard that they're makilin. You can use Teisha Kabin, Shamati Shemachmirin. And it's a person who's machmer, I think it means he doesn't rely on the Teisha Kabin. He's machmer to go in a mikveh. Mikvehs are by himself. You have to find a mikveh. You have to find a body of water by himself. It's much more complicated. And machmer is marichim yamav shnoisav. Amir Shimon Levi. Similar discussion now. Rabbi Shimon Levi came along and he said, "What's going on? Mativin shatoivle shachrin. What's going on? Why are they going in the morning and they're going to find a mikveh to be toivel? What is this?" Effective Gemara, Mativon, you the Omar Bakari also be the Torah. Shubin Levi, if you remember, he was the Baal Meimer. He was the Gemara, the original person who brought in to bring this whole drasha. Okay, you know exactly what it's about. Hachikar Mativon Barboim saw. Efshar b'tish. Why do you have to be machbar? I agree with the problem, but there's a solution. You don't know the solution? There's 40 saw. Mativin b'tvila. Why do you have to go into the water? It's the same thing. After been a you could pour the Teisha Kabin on you. So interesting. They made a getter. So the answer to the question is no. They wanted to make a getter and said, you know what? You have to be machbar. You can't just do Teisha Kabin. It's too easy. Why? It's a very interesting story. There was a person. To do what Aveira. Now. Rashi explains it. Now, it couldn't have been, we'll see from the story, he wasn't such a rusher, so it couldn't have been, it was Mamish, Eshes Isha or anything, but it was a woman. And Amaloi, Reika, understand, you're gonna do an Avera, and then your tummy to miscarry, and you won't be able to learn. Ishchar Boim Saw, Shut Toivin. You're gonna miss Seder. You can't do that. Miyad Pirish. So from here they made a getter. It was a getter, like a little bit. It's psychological a little bit, like that you should know. Okay, if you carry, you can't learn. So it will also end up preventing averas as well, not just stam. It's etzem is a mile because of Kal's Reish. Rabbanan. Yeah, again the story is Miyad Pirish, so he mainly that was enough. Why are you not machmer on this? If because it's cold, you say, what am I going to do? I'm going to go break the ice out in the river and be toivel like the tzaddikim, the rabbis. I'm going to freeze myself. I'm not doing that. So you could go in the mikvah, you go in the swimming pools, even though it's not kosher, but still it's still something. It's not less than Tisha Kabin. Which means to say, like what in the swimming pool, like in the heated water, as in the it's obviously it's not rainwater, it's not natural body of water. There's tefillah. Yeah, yes, that's what Avad says, that there is tefillah in the waters. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll pick it up tomorrow morning.